was fatally stabbed whilst off duty in the middle of London, just weeks before Christmas of 1991. Can you help with any information to get justice for Jim's family and colleagues?
It was August 1988 when Victoria and Jim Morrison were married.
Sometimes you come across people that you just instantly click with, and that's what happened to us, really.
Jim had been a constable with the Metropolitan Police for 5 years. Living and working in central London, he dealt mostly with street crime.
Jim absolutely loved his job. You couldn't really imagine him doing anything else.
He built a reputation as a hard-working and popular officer, and in 1991 he was selected to become a detective constable.
Crime mattered to him. He would be interested in what was going on, but obviously particularly in Covent Garden, where he lived. He was loved by the community there, and he knew so many people. See there.
We did talk about the dangers that he had as a police officer, but they're just sort of in the background. They're not to the forefront of your mind. It's just something that's there, and obviously most of the time you don't think it's going to be happening to you.
Less than 2 weeks before Christmas in 1991, Jim had clocked off and was enjoying a drink in a pub in Covent Garden. It was busy that night, and police believe the area was targeted by a gang of bag snatchers. On his way home from the pub, it's thought Jim came across one of the gang and confronted him.
What you got here, sir? I'm a police officer. You come with me. Okay, stop that, sir. Back off. I'm a police officer. Now you just hold. Good on me for me.
Despite the danger, investigators believe Jim chased the thief through the streets of central London. At Montreal Place, just off the Strand, the chase stopped and took a deadly turn.
The first I knew that something had happened was a colleague of Jim's coming to the flat and telling me that there'd been an accident and that Jim had been taken to St Bart's Hospital. At that point, I had been told that he'd been stabbed, but hadn't been given any details as to how serious it was. The doctor came out and said, "We're really sorry, but there wasn't anything that we could do."
He was just 26.
Police are calling for witnesses to the murder of an off-duty detective constable.
The Met launched a massive investigation to find the man responsible for his death, including an appeal on Crime Watch.
What we want is anyone who was in the Maple Leaf Public House the 13th of December, it's a Friday evening, to come forward, because it's possible they have seen the man who stabbed Jim Morrison.
Stacks of information coming on.
Despite some promising phone calls and new lines of inquiry, police could still not identify the killer. And as the years passed, the investigation struggled to find any new information. But the case is still being investigated. It's now in the hands of Detective Chief Inspector Rebecca Reeves. She's determined to solve the case, no matter how long it takes.
It was absolutely Jim's character and his dedication to duty that meant that he could not walk by.
The fact that he was off duty really didn't come into the equation, because if he saw something that wasn't quite right, whether he was on or off duty, it would be the same response from him.
wouldn't give up until he had done everything he could to try and stop that man. And I think that makes it even more important that we don't give up either.
During the original investigation, witnesses had come forward to identify stolen items that had been scattered during the chase. This gave detectives crucial information about the suspect.
We do believe from the witness descriptions and the information in the investigation that the suspect could be of North African descent. It could be somebody who was living, working in London at the time. I believe that the suspect himself or one of the group that he was with will have confided in someone about what happened. Every year in this investigation we make progress, but we have still not had that significant breakthrough that we want in order to identify the right offender, and that's why we're making this appeal.
Jim's friends and family have waited a long time to see his killer brought to justice.
He should be here now, enjoying his retirement, as I am. It's not right, and I'd like to see justice done. I'd like to see... I'm sure if the boot was on the other foot, so to speak, Jim would be sitting here.
This year was the 30th anniversary, so it was sort of quite an impact, really. I don't think it gets any easier. I think you just learn to live with it. When you lose somebody around Christmas time, I wouldn't say it has a bigger impact, but it certainly does have that sort of family longing. Walking around Covent Garden when you first see the tree go up is a memory that I have every year. I don't think I can give up, or I'm not ready to give up just yet. The family, friends, colleagues would like to see justice for Jim.